Father, this is Mr. and Mrs. Boncassen.
How do you do? How do you do, Your Grace?
How do you do, Mrs. Boncassen?
Miss Isabel Boncassen.
How do you do?
Hello, Miss Boncassen.
How do you do, Your Grace? How do you do?
How do you do, Your Grace?
Well, do
Hello,
come
Mr.
to
Boncassen.
Mrs. Boncassen, thanks.
I've read your admirable treatise on Mr. Lincoln's presidency, Mr. Boncassen.
Oh, and I've read your admirable papers on decimal currency, Your Grace.
Gas, for gas.
What's that, Duchess?
A family saying, Mrs. Boncassen, roughly translated quid pro quo.
And what is that?
One good turn deserves another, my dear.
That's it. Tit for tat.
A quid pro quo is a gift or advantage that is given to someone in return for something that they have done. It is something for something, one thing in return for another, something equivalent, a substitute. So why did the Duchess refer to quid pro quo? Because of what the men said to each other when they first met. So what did they say? The Duke said, "I've read your admirable treatise on Mr. Lincoln's presidency, Mr. Boncassen." And Mr. Boncassen replied, "Oh, and I've read your admirable papers on decimal currency, Your Grace." The Duke honored the writer by referring to the writer's work. And what does the writer do? The writer honors the Duke by mentioning the Duke's writings. So that is quid pro quo. And now here are a few examples. The pardon was a quid pro quo for their help in releasing hostages. The frustrated director wrote an impassioned plea to Hughes that resulted in a perfect quid pro quo for both men. But my take is that it is simple quid pro quo for damages incurred. It does seem, however, that the deal entails an interesting quid pro quo. They share a great deal of information on a quid pro quo basis. Future initiatives in this field need to be aimed at broader exchanges on a quid pro quo basis. Synonyms for quid pro quo: exchange, interchange, tit for tat, equivalent, compensation, retaliation, reprisal, substitution. Formal introductions. Phrases used while introducing people in a formal setting. This is Mr. Boncassen. How do you do, Mr. Boncassen? How do you do, Your Grace? Your Grace is a title of respect that is used when addressing a duke or duchess or other high noble of equivalent rank.